Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. After the completion of pipeline installation, the construction unit should conduct a comprehensive inspection and acceptance of the project quality according to the design documents. Among them, a strength and tightness test of the pipeline system is a critical inspection process before the initial operation of the pipeline. This lesson mainly discusses the conditions and requirements for hydrostatic testing in pipeline. System testing. Pipeline hydrostatic testing is divided into hydrostatic strength testing and hydrostatic tightness testing. Hydrostatic strength testing is also known as pressure resistance testing. Its purpose is to verify whether the pipeline system can withstand the specified pressure. To identify potential issues in design or installation. Hydrostatic tightness testing. Its purpose is to check the sealing condition of the pipeline system. Hydrostatic testing has certain conditions and requirements for the tested pipeline. The quality of the water used, pipeline components, and test pressure. Let's take a look at them one by one. Conditions for hydrostatic testing of pipelines. First, the construction of the pipeline and its supports. Hangers and other systems must be completed. Maintenance records must be complete and pass inspection. Temporary reinforcement measures for testing must be confirmed to be safe and reliable. Secondly, systems, equipment, instruments, and pipelines not involved in the test should be isolated. Remove safety valves and rupture discs. And finally, for pipeline strength testing, any pipeline that will not be damaged by filling with water or damage other connected equipment should first consider using hydrostatic testing. Pipeline not suitable for hydrostatic testing can use air or nitrogen for pressure testing. Requirements for water quality in hydrostatic testing. First, according to the relevant regulations for pressure pipelines, the test fluid should be clean water. When testing pipelines containing austenitic stainless steel components or containers, the chloride ion content in the water must not exceed 50 ppm. Second, if water has adverse effects on the pipeline or process, other suitable non-toxic liquids can be used. When using flammable liquids for testing, their flash point must not be lower than 50 degrees Celsius. Third, for pipelines prone to brittle fracture, such as carbon steel, the temperature of the test liquid must not be lower than 5 degrees Celsius. Fourth, if the temperature of the test water causes condensation on the outer surface of the pipeline, to avoid difficulty in distinguishing real leaks during inspection, the water must be heated above the dew point or the test should be paused until the dew point temperature drops to a level where condensation no longer occurs on the outer surface of the pipeline. Fifth, before pressurizing the pipeline system, the temperature of the pipe and water should be approximately equal. Requirements for pipeline components in hydrostatic testing. First, in a newly constructed pipeline system, any pipeline components that are not suitable for filling, venting, draining, or flushing of the pipeline before the pipeline flushing and pressure testing are completed should not be installed. For example, orifice plate, flow meter, nozzle, side glasses, venturi tubes, and other equipment installed on the pipeline. Second, pressure gauges and recorders. Pressure gauges and recorders should be calibrated before pressure testing, and the calibration cycle should not exceed 1 year. Pressure gauges should be installed at the pressure source outlet and at the low point of the test loop, and should be directly connected to the pipeline. The dial diameter of the pressure gauge should be greater than or equal to 110 millimeters. The range of the pressure gauge should be no less than 1.5 times the test pressure, but no more than 2.5 times. Each test loop should have no less than 2 pressure gauges. If the test pipeline is long, determine whether additional pressure gauges are needed. Pressure gauges should be recalibrated after 3 uses. Third, instrument and sampling pipelines, located before the first shut-off valve, should undergo pressure testing together with the connected pipeline or equipment. There are also relevant requirements for hydrostatic test pressure. First, hydrostatic strength test pressure should not be less than 1.5 times the design pressure when the design temperature is higher than the test temperature. The test pressure should not be less than the value calculated by the following formula. For pipelines with significant elevation differences, the pressure at the highest point should be used as the reference. The static pressure of the test medium should be included in the test pressure. Second, the hydrostatic tightness test pressure should not be less than 1.1 times the design pressure. When the pipeline design temperature is higher than the test temperature, the minimum test pressure is calculated as shown in the formula below. Third, hydrostatic test pressure for pipeline systems with containers. When the pipeline test pressure is equal to or less than the container test pressure, the test should be conducted according to the pipeline test pressure. When the pipeline test pressure is greater than the container test pressure, and it is impractical to isolate the pipeline from the container, and the container test pressure is greater than or equal to 77% of the pipeline test pressure, then the test can be conducted according to the container test pressure. Fourth, for pipelines subjected to external pressure, the test pressure should be 1.5 times the difference between the design internal and external pressures, and should not be less than 0.2 megapascal. Through this lesson, we hope everyone can understand the conditions and requirements for hydrostatic testing in pipeline system testing to be fully prepared for hydrostatic testing operations. Thank you for watching.